Let's talk about increasing property value. You don't build equity by painting cabinets, throwing up trendy wallpaper. You build equity by thinking like an investor, by knowing exactly where to spend your money, where to save money, and how to transform your space into income. Consider this video your blueprint for increasing property value. To do so intentionally, strategically, and without wasting money. So whether you are flipping, whether you're renting out, or you are holding it for long-term rentals, this is how you turn renovations into ROI and design into leverage. This is what I want to talk to you guys about today in this video. You will learn what upgrades actually raise value and which one drains your budget. We'll walk through where to invest, where to cut, and how to prioritize like a strategist. Which things need to be DIY'd, which things you need to hire a contractor for. This isn't just a skill decision, it's a risk management decision. And I'll show you exactly how to assess what's worth doing yourself and what you need to hire professionally. We're also going to talk about my favorite thing, staging for rentals or for selling a property, and what the difference is between both of them. Staging isn't just decorating, it's marketing. We'll break down the difference between staging for long-term rentals and mid-term rentals and staging a property for sale. There's a difference between that because what works for a buyer will not work for a tenant. And most importantly, we are going to talk about my favorite thing, forced appreciation. This is where the magic happens. This is why we invest in real estate. You'll learn how to create value out of thin air, okay? Out of repair, out of renovations. You'll be converting unused spaces by adding bedrooms, bath, and maximizing square footage. This is the game changer that turns regular investors into strategic wealth builders. By the end of this video, I want you to know exactly how to approach any renovations with clarity and confidence. You stop guessing and you start validating, and you'll be in full control of your property's potential and your own financial future. So, my darling, if you are ready to stop wasting money on nonsense renovation and start remodeling like the power maven that I know you are, keep watching because we are diving into the strategies that make your property work for you. But before we do that, please hit that like button because this is a small task for you, but for my little channel, it means everything. Welcome to Lessons Lived, everybody. My name is Nandy. If you are new here, I'm so glad you found our little corner of the internet. Ours is a community of ambitious women who take action. We leverage our full-time jobs to build scalable businesses because we know that wealth isn't an escape plan, it's a power move. If you, my darling, are ready to turn your career into capital, your expertise into income, and your business into a legacy, you are in the right place. Let's talk budgeting for renovations. Where do you spend the money? Where do you save? Because renovations can significantly boost your property value or they can drain your pocket. Renovations can strategically boost a property's value, but strategic budgeting is essential in order to guarantee that you're maximizing those returns. If you're a beginner, you should really be focusing on high impact upgrades without overspending. Here is how you are going to decide where to allocate your funds. Where should you spend your money? We are going to go through very critical things, and I'm going to share with you why it matters. The first place you should spend your money on is kitchen upgrades. The kitchen is often considered the heart of the home. Investing in modern appliances, durable countertops like quartz, granite, but a lot of people now are moving towards quartz, updating kitchen cabinets, all of this can significantly increase your property's appeal. Like the first thing people look at when they go into a home, their eyes will directly go towards the kitchen. So take the time to really spruce up the kitchen. Bathrooms. Buyers and renters look for clean, functional, and modern bathrooms. I'm going to tell you, my second property, my mother fell in love with it because these suckers didn't do upgrades anywhere else, but they put a lot of money in the master bathroom. And my mom was like, yes, honey, you need to buy that property. And here is some seed money for you to buy that property. Upgrade your vanities. Install water efficient toilets. And honestly, have really nice tiles. Tiles always boost the value of a property because they automatically make it seem more elevated and more premium. Also, make sure that you have some functional things there. Water efficient toilets and shower heads. Ensure proper ventilation so that there's no mold. Buyers and tenants and customers are looking at all of these different things. The third place you should invest money in is curb appeal. It took me a long time to understand this. Because for me, I was like, I don't care about that. But a lot of buyers do. And honestly, now, even I myself, I value it too because I know how expensive it is to have really good curb appeal. First impressions matter. Investing in landscaping, fresh paint on the exterior, and the welcoming entryway with a stylish front door will make a big difference. And do not forget proper lighting. You want really good lighting on the exterior of your home. I also want you to think about the structural and the mechanical systems. Spend money on the roof. Spend money on making sure that the plumbing is up to date, the electrical, the HVAC, all of these are in good conditions. And make sure that you have regular maintenance on those services. You need to have a plumber go there at least once a year just to check and make sure that everything is good. You want to have an HVAC person check it on a regular basis. Are all of your water heaters in good condition? Or your duct or your filters replaced? This will prevent costly surprises, making your property more attractive to buyers and tenants. I have a running list of all of the repairs and maintenance I do on my properties, all of them. And my property managers manage that. And for the properties that I manage myself, I just keep a Excel file with these are the services we've done. When I'm ready to sell my property, guess what? I will have proof of all of the work that I've done to make sure that this property is well maintained. Let's talk about forced appreciation or conversions. Everything I just shared with you will go a long way in a cost-effective way in making sure that your property has great value if and should you resell that property or you refinance. But then there are things that you do to a property that takes it from an improvement of 10% to anywhere from 30 to 40%. This is when you start to do conversions. The highest value you can add to a property is by increasing its square footage or the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. This right here for me has been a big game changer. I have not personally increased square footage, but I've increased the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and my properties almost overnight have added an extra 30, 40, even 50%. Yes, they have. I mean, think about it even yourself. When you're buying a property and you go on Zillow, on Realtor.com, how are you filtering properties? How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many square footage? Homes are primarily valued based on their bed and bath count, and then their square footage. So think about adding an extra bedroom and bathroom. You will be converting an extra dining room or living area into a bedroom or a bathroom. So think about transforming a closet into a half bath. That half bath will bring you a lot more value than that closet. Another way you can force appreciation is by expanding living space. Converting a back patio into a functional living room or converting it into a functional bedroom. This will increase usable square footage, making the home more attractive to buyers and appraisers. So why does forced appreciation work so well? You see, when you force appreciate, you are actively enhancing the property's functionality and appeal. And this will directly increase its value because buyers will be looking for those extra bedrooms. They will be looking for those extra baths first. They will be looking at the extra square footage. If there's a neighborhood where most of the homes are 3 bedroom, 2 baths, 1,200 square foot, and yours is a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,900, 2,000 square foot home, even if the kitchen is not perfect, even if the bathroom is not perfect, but we have extra space for every member of the family and we will make the upgrades ourselves. So where exactly can you save money? Let's talk about that. We just finished talking about all the ways where you can actually boost your property value. But there are places where, honey, those things can wait for the next buyer to fix. Cosmetic touches. Instead of high-end wallpapers, expensive light fixtures, opt for budget-friendly but stylish alternatives for home improvements. Today, honey, we have so many options. You do not have to break the bank to make it look like HDTV. Flooring. Please stay away from hardwood floors. Honey, no. No, 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 no. Hardwood floor are for consumers. They're not for me and you who are investors. In my own home that I plan to have for my family, which would not be considered an investment, it would be considered an expense, I might pick hardwood floors. But you as an investor, please don't do it. This is unnecessarily costly. Not only do you spend a lot of money to buy them, you spend a lot of money to invest, and then you spend a lot of money to maintain. Don't do it. Go for laminate. Vinyl planks are the best, right? They offer a very similar look for the fraction of the price. They are cheaper to buy, cheaper to install, and they last longer. Minor DIY fixes, we can leave them too. Tasks like repainting wall, changing cabinet handles, and updating light switches can be done affordably without professional help. You can do these things yourself. Save you the money. Go in there, buy the paint, start painting, and take your time. My parents just finished doing a complete home remodel. It took them about a year, but they did it themselves. Cabinet refacing instead of replacing. Yeah, sand, paint, new cabinet knobs, done. If cabinets are in good shape, reface them. Do not replace. You can get new hardware, new paint, and boom, it's like brand new. When to hire contractors and when to do it yourself. My darlings, I cannot say this enough. There's a lot of things you can do yourself. But wisdom is knowing when to hire and when to do yourself, right? There used to be a time when Nandy would do a lot of things around the house herself. Today, I hire out almost everything. But my family, my parents, I'm so proud of my mom and my dad. They recently bought a duplex. There was a lot of work. In my head, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to cost them so much money. They were able to do it all with sweat equity. You need to decide whether to hire or DIY. And this will depend on your skills, your budget, your time, and the complexity of the project. As a beginner, you should be cautious about taking on projects beyond your expertise, as some of these mistakes can be costly. Here is the other truth, though. There is a lot of things that we are scared to take on that we actually can take on ourselves. We absolutely can. YouTube University can teach you to do so much. Now, things like electrical, I don't know. I did not touch electrical. I really didn't touch plumbing except for very small things. So for example, I changed my own light fixtures that I was able to do. But then when you have more complex electrical things, like changing wires and stuff like that, I probably could have learned how to do that, but it would have taken me more time. So you need to decide for yourself when to DIY and when to hire a professional. When it comes to plumbing and electrical, not at least doing some research to see if you could DIY it will determine whether you will spend $1,000 on a project or $200. I had an HVAC person charge me $150 for a part that was $15. I'm sorry, these contractors will be full of shit. They will tell you that we're professionals, blah, 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 blah. It's nonsense. There's a lot of things that you will be told, and in a way, there's a kernel of truth, but it's not that you cannot do it. You just need to invest the time to make sure you do it well. If you do not have the time to invest, which for most of the time I don't, so I hire people. If you have the skills or you're willing to develop the skills and the time and you have the patience, DIY, chef's kiss. It's the best thing you can do. Is it possible to do almost everything yourself? Maybe, but it will take time and it will require that investment in learning. Hiring contractors. This will be the biggest and most frustrating part of your journey. Many investors and homeowners struggle to find reliable contractors, myself included. Unless you're working with a family member or you get really lucky, dealing with bad contractors is just the rite of passage. You cannot be a true investor unless you have a story, a long line of bad stories of working with contractors. Right? And managing these contractors efficiently and effectively should be its own course. But here are 5 guidelines that will help you avoid getting screwed. Get everything in writing. Always have a detailed contract that outlines the scope of the work, the timeline, the payment schedule, and never, ever rely on verbal agreements. The second thing, never, ever pay the amount upfront. Always pay in installment based on project milestone. Do not make the mistakes Nan has made by making it based on time. Oh, after a week, I'll pay you this much. No. After you've completed these things, then you get paid. If those things are not completed, you don't get your money. A lot of contractors, and I get it. I am not here to batch on contractors. We have our challenges as investors. They have their own challenges too. Most contractors will be dealing with multiple projects because they want to secure the budget. But then they will steal from Peter to pay Paul. And at the end of the day, they ain't got no money. And the projects are not completed because they were doing too many projects. Most contractors are horrible at time management. And I get it. It's because they are dealing with a business and a type of work that's not, I'm going to start at 9 and I'm going to end at 5. It's more complex than that, and I understand it. You need to understand it too so you can secure your investment. You need to check for references and reviews. This is why I'm a big believer in living where your projects are happening and making sure that you're talking to as many people as possible for referrals. But this means also you being plugged in and connected in organizations where these people are doing business. You need to ask for past work samples. If you can, it's not always possible, but can you contact previous clients to verify the reliability of this contractor? I've never really done this because I never really had the time. Every time I worked with a contractor, I was always in the gun, backed up against the wall, wanting to move very quickly. I haven't had disastrous situations just yet. Actually, I came close with one, but I was able to get out of it with as little headache as possible. It was stressful. It could have been worse. Buy your own materials. Contractors will mark up material cost. I had an electrician who charged me, I just mentioned it, $150 for something that's $15. Purchase the material yourself will save you money. Monitor the work. My darling, you need to be on top of your work because I promise you, honey, if you hand a contractor a hand, they will take your whole dang on body. You need to be actively involved. You need to visit the site constantly, and any issues that need to be addressed, you address it right away. And the other thing I want you to do when it comes to the contractor, I need you to get the driver's license information and the insurance information. Actually, put this at the top. This right here should be the first thing you do, especially if you don't have references and you're new in the area or you're working long distance. You need the driver's license, you need the insurance information. Honey, you see this face? I have scars to show for it. If something goes wrong, you can either sue them or file a claim with their insurance to recover your loss. There is so much involved with hiring contractors. I need to probably set a whole new video. Yeah, it's probably what I'm going to do just on hiring contractors because they have probably been one of the most challenging parts and also at the same time the most exciting, right? Because there's nothing that's more exciting than seeing all of the work that you've done come to fruition. You took something that was ugly and you turned it into something beautiful. Me and my family have had the opportunity to do a lot of that work ourselves. So when we meet in front of contractors, we really know who's bullshitting us and who isn't. And as inflation grows, so is the cost of everything. What used to cost me $3,000 is now costing me anywhere from $9,000 to $10,000. Yes. Between the cost of the contractor, the cost of the material, it's just too much. So you need to become very proficient at working with contractors. I'm going to work on that video and loop it back with you guys. But now let's talk about staging. Staging for rental versus selling. What makes a difference? Staging plays a key role in attracting not just potential buyers but also tenants. But the strategy for both of them is different. The way you're staging to try to get a buyer versus the way you will stage to try to get tenants will be very different, right? So let's talk about staging for sellers first, right? If you're trying to sell your property, you need to declutter and you need to depersonalize. This is no longer going to be your home. That buyer who's coming in needs to put themselves in your home. So you have to remove any personal items, family photos, or any excessive furniture, right? Just take it out. I think, was it Chanel? I think it was Chanel who said, when it comes to jewelry, before you walk out the home, go back, take one jewelry off, then you're perfect. When it comes to staging for sellers, it's the same thing. You want to make the space look spacious and as neutral as you possibly can. And if you have color, there's a way to do color tastefully. You want to make sure that you're highlighting key features. Showcase focal points like fireplace, large windows. And if it's an open layout, showcase that. And strategically place furniture in such a way that the space feels bigger. You want more neutral tones, especially in the US, right? What I've come to enjoy about traveling the world is how the rest of the world is not scared of color. It's primarily the US that's very skittish about colors. We want everything neutral. No, you go to Mexico and they have yellows, orange, blues. Oh my gosh, it gives you so much life. I love it. But here in the US, we need to stick with neutral color schemes and minimalist furnitures to appeal to a wider American audience. Professional photography. This one is really up to you. Today, our phones can do an amazing job, right? We don't need some fancy photography because you can have good quality photos with your phone if done well, right? Because I do YouTube videos, so I have lots of lighting around me. I use my own lighting and my own camera to take really good photos. And every time I pass my pictures on to the realtors to list my properties, they're like, we don't need professional pictures. These are really good. However, high quality listing photos can make a significant impact on attracting the right buyers. So whether you're hiring a professional or you're going to learn how to do it yourself, they still have to be high quality photos. And lighting, when it comes to high quality, is really important. Either wait to take pictures in the middle of the day or bring in a lot of light to make those pictures as bright and as inviting as possible. You need to ensure that natural light is maximized, and any supplemental lights that you are bringing in, like light fixtures and stuff, have daylight bulbs. And actually, even better, my lighting here, you're about to see, I just turned it off. Now it's off. Now it's on, right? And I can also change you see, now it's more of a yellow tone. So you can play with different types of lighting, even for your home. Curb appeal, mow the lawn, trim the edges, add a fresh coat of paint. This is an inexpensive way to really stage that home so that it's inviting. The good thing about a lot of American homes, right, it's like they are not necessarily made of brick everywhere, so you could easily paint it. Right? Get the family together, spend a weekend, make it a fun project with barbecue, and paint the exterior of the home. And most importantly, honey, paint the front door a bright color. I do have to say this, even in our American culture, there's something like it doesn't have to be like an orange or a yellow, but think about maybe like if everything else is neutral, make it a deep red and then put a beautiful wreath around it. The front door, when it pops against the rest of the house, my God, it looks so good. It looks so good in picture. So that's my last little tip for you. Don't be scared to have neutral everywhere with pops of color. But no matter what, keep it minimalistic. Increasing your property's value isn't just about making things look better, right? It's about you really making those strategic choices that will translate into dollars. Dollars in the form of long-term appreciation, in the form of equity, and in the form of more money for your rent on a monthly basis. When you're staging for a rental or you're staging for a sale, how well you stage, you will determine whether or not you bring in more money on a monthly basis, or you bring in more money for that sale, or how far that property is going to appreciate over time. So all of it is just more money coming your way. Every decision you make should be aligned with the end goal. Are you wanting to increase ROI? Are you wanting forced appreciation through conversions? And also you knowing which cosmetic upgrade is worth it? All of these decisions matter in your long-term goal. And when it comes to increasing your property value, you cannot forget staging. There are things that you do for long-term gain, and then there are things that you do for short-term gain. When you're staging a property, it allows you to potentially sell that house faster, or it allows you to get a tenant to move in faster and to probably give you top dollar for it, as opposed to if it wasn't staged, you would just get whatever the market average is. All of these decisions are also that you can boost your bottom line. The smartest investors don't just depend, they validate. And that validation comes by you understanding where your value is going to come from. And that validation comes from understanding where value actually lives in the property. This module, I hope, gave you the framework to approach every project from that weekend refresh to a full-scale remodel with a strategy, confidence, and real measurable impact. You see, renovating isn't just about doing more, it's about doing what will matter most for your bottom line as an investor. If this video has helped you see renovation and staging through a more strategic lens, please send it to a friend who's ready to upgrade more than just finishes. They are ready to increase real value for their properties. And hit that subscribe button for more content that gives you the tools to build lasting wealth. And when you're ready to grow with a community that values clarity, ownership, and power moves, please join the Lessons Live community in the comments below. Thank you so much. We want you to become another member of the Power Move Collective. There was also more videos. Yes, we are still talking real estate next week, and I hope to see you then next Wednesday when we are going to talk more real estate. My darling, I will see you in the next video.